Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to the Morehammer podcast, your fortnightly wargaming and Warhammer podcast where we talk all things around the hobby. I am one of your hosts, Wargaming Luke, as always, and I'm joined by the man of the small folk, the man of the north. It is Simon, aka Hobby Waffle. How we doing, bud?
Good evening. I'm not quite sure I'm happy with this man of the small folk title. Is this because of the
We'll have
epic
to come up with a
miniatures?
different one then. We'll have to come up with a different one, and you'll have to stop buying small miniatures. I mean, that's
This is true. Yeah.
and
I've just got the
of
Mechanicum
course,
stuff, so yeah.
You are wearing a Worms t-shirt as well, which is, small things.
Yeah.
So it is
It gets
appropriate.
worse, man. Come on. All right, and then of course you've heard him already, but we are joined as well as always by bringing the Benergy. Diggy is Mr. Ben, aka 90% Geek.
Mr. Ben, there's another good cartoon show.
Mr. Ben.
As if by magic, the Warhammer podcast appeared.
Yes. And in honor of what we were talking about last week, Sai is wearing his Banana Bomb t-shirt. I'm loving that, dude. After the Worms conversation last week. It's awesome stuff. But if it's your first time joining us, guys, of course, make sure you are subscribed if you're watching us here on YouTube, and following us over on Spotify if you're listening to us there, and you can jump between the two if you want to, of course. And join us over in the Discord. We're chatting there in between episodes, like I say, fortnightly. You can share your hobby update stuff with us over there, as we do in return. We love to see it over there. But it's been a couple of weeks, as always, so I think we should catch up on some hobbying. Ben, you sent me a nice photo. Obviously, it's been spooky season. Woo!
It has indeed.
So,
Normally, spooky season, I paint something spooky. This time, I've gone the opposite direction and painted the anti-spooky. I painted the Ghostbusters. And then played around with some photo editing software to give it a kind of a spooky atmospheric vibe. And this is in honor of I've written rules for them. I just didn't get it filmed in time for Halloween. So it's a video that's going to have to come a little bit later when I get time to actually play this through. I've written Warcry rules for the Ghostbusters, and I'm going to try Ghostbusters versus Nighthaunt in a Warcry battle report, which will be coming to my channel at some point. But no, these are the, what's the name of the company that makes it? I want to say Black Evil Hat Miniatures.
I have no idea for these, to be honest.
I will come back to me on that one. I will tell you which makes these. They are awesome miniatures, and they actually make some others as well. They made like Janine and Rick Moranis' character, and the Devil Dogs. They did a whole bunch of really cool kind of stuff. Hello, cat. Yes, so that's basically what I've been up to. Has been desperately painting Ghostbusters.
Nice, and I'll look forward to seeing that game up on your channel whenever you get around to it. I know you've been off, but doing a lot of editing on other things. So
I have big project in the way.
Indeed.
What about you guys?
Si, what about yourself?
Nothing too much hobby-wise this last couple of weeks. Just a few more Epic Marines, and then I've undercoated some Aeronautica planes, some Marauder destroyers. It's getting to that time now where the weather's bad, so you need to have a nice stash of undercoated miniatures to be painting. So I haven't done an awful lot over the last 2 weeks, to be honest with you. I bought some stuff, but I haven't done a lot of hobbying. I've been very busy with work, and then my wife's on crutches because she busted her ankle as well. So last week I've just been playing butler.
Got a little bell she's ringing whenever she needs you.
Don't give her ideas because she's already discussed it.
This is Waffle. Little bell.
WhatsApp at the minute, yeah. Any chance of a brew? Okay.
Well, fair enough, my dude. I suppose I'll share my one painted miniature picture that I've got. I've been painting up there. Obviously, my Dungeons and Dragons group is disbanded for the time being, and I stepped in and said I would purchase the Cursed City Warhammer Quest Cursed City set. I thought it'd be perfect for spooky season as well, since it's kind of obviously the Ulfin Khan setting with death and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I've built it all up, and I've been painting the heroes and some other bits and bobs. So you got two of them here. So I think it's Dagny, the dwarf, and I can't remember the name of the wood elf, but yeah.
You've played it through as well for the first time, haven't you?
Yeah, I did have Blackstone for a while. Played through some of that. A lot of it's quite similar, but I must say, like, there's a lot different with Cursed City. You know, there's the leveling up side of it that wasn't really in Blackstone. There's a lot more customization, it feels like, around a lot of the heroes and things. It's great fun though, and my friends that I live with here, my brother and a friend, they're not really Warhammer people, but this is the first time I've been able to get them as close to Warhammer as I can, where you've got more of like the dungeon crawler kind of game setting, which kind of has the D&D elements.
Like a modern day hero quest.
Yeah, and you get the crises happen as well, on like random discoveries and things. So, and that's on like effectively a D100 roll really for like random events that happen in the world, and they love those parts because you can still role play a bit with it. So we've been really kind of enjoying playing through this, and I think we've played a few quests already, and we're now on our first villain, which of the 5. So looking forward to doing that. But aside from that, my end of year project, I've nailed it down finally, is going to be the Tyranids. So I've had for ages the Leviathan box set from 10th edition, the Tyranid half of that. Obviously the Space Marines did earlier this year. I'm going to do the Tyranids half of it the end of this year, basically. So it'll actually round out the year quite nicely. I started it with with one half, finished it with the other half. So especially over the Christmas break, I'll try and get them, I think, painted up. But I've already built quite a few of those. So I'll be looking forward to that. But that's most of my hobbying. I've got a game later this week with a friend, Age of Sigmar. We're playing, I can't remember if I said on the last episode, in one of the recent White Dwarf issues, they're doing it's called Moldaport or something like that. It's based around in Age of Sigmar. It's like the Stormcast are sent out to this port side town to get rid of effectively Clan Molder Skaven. And they did like a 3 or 4 narrative game series run over the White Dwarf, recent White Dwarf issues that you can play through. So we're actually running through those. So
don't chew the headphone cable.
Cat shenanigans are happening.
Niggas trying to chew the headphone cable. Yes, go back to sleep.
So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm up to hobbying wise, I think. But I think other than that, we'll go into the reveals because there's been a few reveals.
One thing before we do that, Crooked Dice is the name of the company that makes the Ghostbusters miniatures. If anybody else wants to get their own, Crooked Dice. They've got loads of cool stuff.
I'll have to, if I remember, I'll put the link in the description for that.
Cool.
Okay, so I suppose actually, Ben, what is it time for?
And now the news.
Awesome. And the first of many reveals these are actually from today. And
there haven't been many reveals for a while, and then there's suddenly this stuff's come in today, which is awesome.
Yeah. So we've got a few we can chat about, but we've got a couple today. A new character model for House Delac.
Very, very Ravener, I've got to say.
Yeah, the info.
It's a thing.
It's really cool. It's like the world's most ultimate gaming rig.
It really is, actually. It's like somebody after many, many hours of playing World of Warcraft on the spot.
Yeah.
But no, actually it looks like a YouTube or a blogger in the world of Warhammer. The server skull above him looks like it could be a camera or something as well. Actually,
streaming on one screen and editing on the other.
Yeah, it's almost like that guy in the center of the Matrix has been given a 40k makeover.
Yeah.
I think we definitely actually need to get some head sculpts of us and put them on this guy. It'd be quite fun.
Well, and get the Morehammer servo skull from the Warhammer Plus miniature to go with it.
Yeah, put that mic into it. Yeah, but it's a good fun model, and I'll look forward to seeing what you can do on the table as well. Is it one that would interest either of you?
I think so.
You really Delac, are you? Or
no?
So I've not read this article today. So what's that? It's something to do with the House Van Saar.
He's a former House Van Saar ganger who sought to merge his mind with the kind of the mind of the STC, and now
which
has
is
become
corrupted.
this. Yes, exactly. So it didn't go well for him. And he has now become the kind of this mysterious info broker who's hardwired into his kind of data throne.
Yeah.
His head all looks very similar to that Stentor I-52 guy that's with the other.
It does, doesn't it?
Ostrom.
It's got the long kind of Geiger style elongated skull.
Yeah.
And I think when they posted some pictures of this guy, I don't know if there are more pictures of him further down. I think when they posted pictures of this guy on some of the online sites, there were some other angles of him. Oh, maybe it's just this picture I'm thinking of where you can see the kind of the long elongated skull.
Yeah.
Creepy.
No, no,
Reminds me of
definitely.
which is the assassin with the long skull? Is it the one that mind controls?
The Colexus
Is it? Yeah, that's what
is
it
the
like.
Colexus. It's the anti-psyker
Yeah,
one.
yeah, that's what it
No,
like.
his rules are pretty cool though. He can basically, in Necromunda, you get gang tactic cards, so you can do like an intelligence test to force your opponent to reveal what their tactic cards are. Essentially,
That's cool.
he gives you kind of the info on your opponent's gang, which is really quite cool.
Yeah, he's basically hacking the Vox channel, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's really cool. I could definitely,
He is literally the guy in the chair.
yeah, I could definitely see some use for this guy in like an Inquisitor warband. He could be very, very cool as like a savant or a sage or something.
Definitely. Okay, moving on. This is a very cool one as well. I think this came out of nowhere.
Start sweating. Well, I do wonder if if this is why we've not got any other old world reveals before the end of the year. Is if they're going to fill in the gaps with some of the kind of character models that have not been released yet. So if we'll suddenly get like the Goblin Wolf Rider character will get released,
That'd
or
be cool.
the Warriors of Chaos character will get released. That would be really cool.
We'll have to wait and see, I suppose. But Burlock Daminson,
before he lost his arm.
Yeah. Have we had this guy in all previous editions, Ben?
Yes. So he was previously released in 4th edition, and then was also had rules in 5th edition, and then they released journal article rules for him in 6th edition. He is this is before he lost his arm and became part bionic. This is the rogue engineer. This is the kind of the wild card of the engineering guild, Burlock Damnison. Albeit it's nice to see that they've retained some of the aspects of the original model, like the little kind of chimney coming off his steam-powered backpack.
From this angle, it looks like he's got an old world RPG head on the back of his on his back.
A little bit Boba Fett. Maybe he just leans forward and launches it over the top of his backpack,
like a Stormboy's rocket.
Yeah.
I love a good revolver pistol as well. Gatling pistol.
It's a really cool model, and it was a nice one. I thought maybe they would just re-release the old model. I mean, that's what I've got the old model. I'm painting him up to use as Burlock Damnation. So now I've got a choice of either using that or getting the new model to go with him.
He's got a fancy pickle hob helmet on as well, hasn't he?
He does. I don't think the original had that. I have to check my miniature. I think the original just had a kind of traditional. Yeah, there we are. There's the original down below. So he didn't have the pointy helmet before.
Cool. And then so I mean, he obviously is going to give those kind of range boosts and things like that as well, right?
Yeah. So I mean, he is. If you want to field a mass dwarven war machine army, and why wouldn't you? He is a kind of a must take, to be honest, because he gives you all that extra kind of bonuses to rerolls on the artillery dice and stuff like that. And he's also a pretty hard ass in combat when it comes down to it. He's got that big old hammer for like smashing in the skulls of his enemies.
Nice. And then
it's a nice miniature. Very nice.
It is indeed. It is. And then kind of going into some reveals from last week, because obviously we would have missed it. So
we weren't here.
We have I don't know.
This is
Fugan.
Fugan. I say Fugan.
Phoenix Lord for the
yeah. This is the nicest of the glow ups they've done so far, I think.
Yeah, this one is tremendous.
This model's gorgeous.
The paint job helps as well. It's a beautiful paint job.
I think this was the perfect one for them to drop as a tease for next year for Eldar fans or anybody to get anybody interested.
Well, it pretty much confirms what we thought were coming, that new fire dragons are coming. And then if apparently a sermon has been seen, so Auspex Tactics has apparently seen the model and said it's really, really nice. It's faithful to the old one, but it's a really impressive glow up. And you could say this one's kind of faithful to the old one. He's switched sides weapons wise, hasn't he? His axe and his lance have switched, but
it's clearly he's ambidextrous.
Yeah, I like the Burning Chaos Space Marine helmet on the base.
Yeah,
and the sculpted detail on the banner is great as well.
It is, although I keep looking at it and thinking Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, the samurai style banner, I do like that.
Yes.
Also, the lore behind this guy.
It does look like the Mortal Kombat logo now. I can't unsee
it. You can't unsee it. I'm sorry. Finish him.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, he is very Mortal
Get over here.
Isn't he? Yeah. But no, what I was going to say, the lore behind this guy as well, I didn't really know much about it, recent lore. I'm just going to read this paragraph because it's so badass. Most recently, the Burning Lance, as he is known, joined the Ynnari in their desperate defense against the Thousand Suns in the Webway. Though he vanished as the battle drew to a close, Since then, he has stalked these ancient tunnels, hunting down demons that dare to sully the webway with their foul presence. He's literally the webway like bounty hunter assassin.
Yeah, have you
Freaking
seen
awesome.
that Gaviscon advert with the two like guys going down the fight with the fight? Yeah, that's what he is in the webway. Stalking the webway, just like burning everything he finds that he don't agree with.
The only seriously ironic thing is they're saying he's stalking demons. Demons are literally the worst thing for him to hunt. Like, he's got a weapon, that has incredible AP. Demons have an invulnerable save.
Yeah.
They're literally the thing he shouldn't be used for.
In terms of the game, yeah. And until we end up seeing rules of him, and then it's like, oh no, he ignores invulnerable saves. Oh no way!
Firepike that ignores invulnerable saves would just be wrong, but awesome.
It's just a single shot weapon, 1 damage, but it ignores invuns.
It's an instant buy for me. That
yes, this is my take your model off the table. Go on.
Yeah,
no, he's by far the prettiest, and I mean,
like I say, this is the Eldar hype model for next year. Like, this makes me want to consider an Eldar army next year. Like, this model alone.
Well, I think there's going to be a few more surprises. There's a rumor going around that we're getting a Warp Spider Phoenix Lord, which has never been seen before because they've never had one. So
no, we're going to get plastic Warp Spiders finally. The oldest kit in the Eldar range
it
finally
would make
get
sense
replaced.
To go alongside that, wouldn't it? I guess alongside the Warp Spider. And then you know what I could actually see how we've just had the Inquisition boxes. I could see that for the new Eldar. So you kind of get like 2 or 3 different boxes with the new squad for like Fire Warriors and Fuyugan in one. Then in another you get like the new
Dire Avengers and
Assurman,
Baharoth and Sweeping Hawks.
Yeah,
that would be very cool.
That's what I could see. Yeah. No, wait, was there 4 boxes for Inquisition or 3?
3.
Yeah.
1 for each chamber.
Yeah. So
the major ordos.
That's
anyway.
my prediction for next year.
Well, we shall see if Luke is right in that regard.
Indeed.
Meanwhile.
Yes. I did say, didn't I? This is definitely the actual technically festive mini because there's always an actual Christmas miniature.
Yeah.
So like we have another Red Gobbo this year. But even more cool, he's got a snowman on it, and if you don't put the top half on, it shows the fact that it's actually a bomb in the bottom half, which is just awesome.
I like the little elf helper. I think that's my favourite. The little grot, the snotling next to it, and the elf hat. I think that's really cool.
It's like
it's like
tiny version
it makes it look like the snowballs, but they're actually
hand grenades.
Hand grenades.
Yeah, it's great.
This one's really cool.
Really fun mini. And I remember the time they released the last one. They released some really cool kind of festive, like there was a kill team mission with him, and I think possibly they did something for Blackstone, but I can't remember. And definitely gave him like 40k rules, stuff like that. So
this was comically introduced by a James Workshop video as well.
Yes,
he's back. Yeah, pops in.
It was one of the. It was one of the more interesting James Workshop's videos. I must admit, I was laughing.
Yeah, no, it was good. But then we also have 2 new Warhammer Underworlds warbands.
I think these got announced early. I think
sets.
these got accidentally announced early because of the potato can pictures that got released.
Yeah.
Whenever
there were some pics on Reddit, weren't there?
It makes sense though, doesn't it? Like, I think it's good that they do that. That whenever there's leaks, they don't let them get the joy out of the leak. They just put it out themselves and take the traction. So, but yes, we have 2 new ones. We've got the Jaws of Itzel and Grandfather's Gardeners. So a new Nurgle Demon and a new Seraphon warband, which is pretty cool. So I'll be excited to probably get hold of the Seraphon warband. No, needless to say.
The Old Blood in particular is one of the nicest models that I think they've done for the Saurus range.
Definitely.
I'll tell you what, I was just going to say, this is another failure of the new website, where it's that zoomed in, you can't actually get to the arrow at the bottom to flick across to the next picture without
I'm just going to see if I can zoom out even more. There we go. Probably a bit easier now, because then I can actually show you guys the pictures a bit easier. There we go. So there's some kind of cool varied Saurus Warriors as well, if you wanted to pop those into your actual armies, I guess.
And snakes! Why did it have
I love
to be
this
snakes?
little idol with the snakes. It's brilliant.
Yes.
I think, Ben, first time I saw this, actually, I need to get some Lizardmen swarms, so I might actually use this on one of the bases. I think that would be cool. for jungle swarms for Old World.
Yeah.
That's gonna have to happen. But yeah, very cool. And they, as you'd expect with a Saurus warrior heavy kind of warband, they're all based on damage output and finishing off.
Choppy
and stuff like
smash.
that. Yeah.
Chomp, chomp, chomp.
In terms of rules.
These
And
are
then,
just
yeah.
disgusting.
Wonderfully disgusting, though. I love
Yeah.
these little. Death Guard have had a lot of love over the years, and we talked about that when we talked about the new Kill Team starter box that they'd done. But it's nice to see Plague Bearers get a bit of some love for once, because they've only really had that one kit.
You know when someone's done a good job designing something Nurgle, when you look at it and think, Jesus, that's a bit much. So, fair play to them.
Yeah, these are lovely. These are Nurgle's gardeners. I think this is brilliant.
This is cool.
It's like you've got the proboscis or whatever, it's coming out of the beetle's head, through the back of his head, out of his mouth.
To his
And then you've got like a mini beetle being birthed out of his ass. It's just hideously brilliant.
This one's got a rake, it's lovely. They're lovely, they're like Gardener's World type things.
Somebody is gonna. I've seen some brilliant Nurgle, dioramas of the Gardener Nurgle before. But I think with these, some people are going to do some really nice stuff. We've just obviously had the armies on parade, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
But I think next year people are going to do some fun things with these.
I feel like I want to make a demon prince called Alan Itchmarsh.
Oh, anybody listening abroad, that's such an English thing as
no
well.
idea.
It's like... Search ground force, people. You'll catch up very quickly. But,
they've got some hideous names, those, haven't they, as well?
Yeah, so I'll have to focus in here.
You'll have to zoom in again to find those.
To see the names, but you've got
Flemus Potbelly.
Flemus, yeah.
Squat.
Yeah. Some very
Stroog. Slunge, Maggoty Scrooge, and Dripetrius.
And
brilliant.
then rules-wise as well, because this was the thing that I really enjoyed on Warhammer Total War, the game. Whenever you played Nurgle Demons, they had like the whole cycle of disease. Obviously, I think in Sigmar they have it as well.
They have it, yeah. They have the little when they released them for the first time in Age of Sigmar. The release box, I had it. That's came with a little spinny thing, which I've still got somewhere.
And it looks like they're going to kind of
implement
a mini version of that into Underworlds as well. So that should be good fun with this warband. So yeah, I'll look forward, and then 2 Rivals decks as part of the releases as well, as you'd expect. So I think these two will definitely tipped me over the edge into wanting to get the new edition.
Well, I mean, I've got a Maggotkin army, and my stepbrother's got a Seraphon army, so I might have to see if he wants to split this with me.
Yeah, because I must say, in the new Emberguard set, Stormcast have just never bothered me. So I think these two definitely, alongside the new Skaven warband, I think for sure. But yes, that is the reveals that we've kind of had to catch up on from the last couple of weeks, at least the main ones anyway. But we, other than that, I think we've just got a few community questions this week we can jump to from over on Reddit. You guys have been posting over there. So I'll start with Ferrum Freak Show. Sends in, wanting to get into the books, but don't know where to start. Obviously talking in terms of Black Library. Obviously, you guys are more into Black Library than myself. However, I still could give my own things, but I'll leave it up to you guys here for this one mostly.
I've literally done, I think, like 3 videos on this. So yes, there's a top 10 Old World video, top 10 40K, and top 10 Space Marines
video.
But no, well, how about this? I'll happily weigh in on what I would recommend if you want to get into a book about the Old World. Si, do you want to take a crack at perhaps the 40k ones?
Yeah, I can do. I would say for 40k, I wouldn't go too deep straight away. You want something that's going to give you kind of a basic knowledge of the background and stuff like that. So you could go with some basic Space Marine novels. I find the Space Wolf series is pretty good, but it is focused on the Space Wolves and not other chapters. Gaunt's Ghost is a great one to get started with. There's a whole load of Gaunt's Ghost books. Probably not Eisenhorn, although a lot of people say it is a good jumping in point. What do you think, Ben?
I think Eisenhorn is, I mean, it's a great book. And it does give you an instant kind of immersion into the lore. I agree with you. Gaunt's Ghost is actually a good, gentle entry insofar as it has as much in common with kind of like the Sharp novels almost. It's that style of kind of Band of Brothers war novel as much as it is a 40k novel. Like you could read those and you wouldn't necessarily need to know as much about 40k to enjoy them, but you would pick up an understanding of kind of the setting by reading them.
And then the other two I would say for Space Marines, the Uriel Ventris books are probably a good jumping in point. Maybe Nightbringer's probably aged a bit now, but some of those books are pretty good if you wanted to get into some basic bolter action, like Warriors of Ultramar is pretty decent. A bit of an outlier, the Bloodraven novels aren't that bad for getting into 40k.
Okay, really? C.S. Gotto, really?
Yeah, if you was just, I'm talking from a point of view where if you didn't know anything about the hobby and you were coming in, it's sort of, they're very bland, aren't they? So it might not be as much of a vicious introduction.
One of my least favourite 40k is the only thing I was going to say.
You are sorry?
Each to their own, though, eh? It's a good.
No, this is true.
You get different suggestions for different people. So
out of the two, I would pick the Uriel Ventris series and maybe the Iron Warriors ones as well. Like Storm of Iron, that's a cracking book. That'd be a good one to get into.
Nice.
I think that's probably it, really, for jumping in. Maybe, I don't know, one of the anthologies might be decent enough, like Heroes of the Space Marines or something like that, where it's a collection of short stories. So that might be a good jumping in point.
From an old world point of view, the easiest answer on this one is Gotrek and Felix.
Yeah,
I mean, if you want,
I agree.
If you want a travelogue around the old world, follow the adventures of Gotrek and Felix. They are classic adventure stories that will introduce you to every corner of the Warhammer world. You can't, and they're a brilliant read as well. Bill King was a great writer when he was working on it, and Nathan Long did an amazing job as well.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned the Space Marines, because of Bill King.
Yeah, Bill King. I love Bill King's writing. I've got pretty much everything he wrote for Games Workshop. But as well as the Gotrek and Felix novels, there are a couple of other good ones that I can suggest. From a Graham McNeil point of view, he wrote a 2-novel series which you can still get as an ebook from Black Library, which is the Ambassador novels. They are set during the beginning of kind of the big chaos incursion into the old world, from the point of view of the ambassador of the Empire of Man when he's sent to court of the Tsarina in Kislev. And yeah, that's a really, really well written, really good book. And they kind of wrote a sequel to that called Urson's Teeth. They're now released as kind of a duology on Black Library's kind of ebook site. And actually, the most recent one by sticking with Graham McNeil, because he did do a lot of really good stuff for the old world. He did Lords of the Lance, which is the one that is set in the current old world time
the new one, yeah.
It's the only one that's been written in the new era at the moment. And it's a really good read. I really enjoyed it when I read through it.
I have just thought of another 40k series, which could be a jump in, but it's more of a humorous jump in. I think Ben will probably know where I'm going with this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, novels.
But they are actually fairly educational. I mean, in terms of Kane does give you a good kind of tour of the Imperium in terms of he runs into most of the major enemies of the Imperium. He runs up against the Nids, he runs up against the Orcs, the Tau, the Necrons, the Gene Stealer cults. He genuinely kind of runs away from and kills in fits of terror most of the enemies of mankind.
Yeah, I'm sure I can still remember a particular scene from a Kane novel where there's some Necrons marching out of a blizzard or something like that, and you just see them appearing through the snow. Am I on the right book there?
That is Caves of Ice. That's the second one.
That's it. Yeah. That stuck with me. That was a fantastic book.
But one of the things I love about that is the name of the planet is Simia Orichalci, which, if you roughly translate it, means brass monkeys. Which
love it.
Brilliant.
Yeah, the Kane books are brilliant, especially for all those little Easter eggs like that. Like there's one of them that one of the little interludes between kind of action sequences where the Inquisitor, who is collating his biography,
the omnibuses are there.
Oh, you got them on the shelf behind you. I've got them on the bookcase in the next room. Although mine are the individual novels rather than the omnibuses. But yeah, there is an account of a Vanelfleet Gothic spaceship captain who leads the defense of the system fleets, and it is a Captain Bugler. Yes. Which the thing that
I love
annoys,
it.
let me just say, I'm going to say this now. The thing that annoys me the most is if you listen to the audible version, they insist on pronouncing it as Bugler because the
No.
narrator didn't get the joke.
It's like Hyacinth Bucket and Bouquet, isn't it?
Bouquet. It's pronounced Bugler, actually.
Okay.
Luke, can you weigh in at all? Anything you wanted to mention?
It would have been Gotrek and Felix. That's my favourite series anyway that I've read. Given that we've mentioned Old World 40k, though, if you are at all interested in Sigmar, they had all the Realm series of books.
They did
to open up Sigmar, which I've read a couple of. They're not bad books, but if you actually want to learn the lore and stuff like that and kind of get immersed in the world, it's good for that.
Again, actually, in that respect, the Gotrek books, Realm Slayer and
Oh,
Ghoul Slayer.
I haven't read any of the Sigmar the Mortal Realms based ones yet, but that's true. Yeah,
I've read the first three, and I listened to Realm Slayer on audiobook because how could you not listen to Brian Blessed as Gotrek? They are actually really good.
And there are books based around the end times as well, so it helps you if you're not sure about the lore about the old world going into or fantasy going into Mortal Realms and Age of Sigmar, then it kind of helps you learn a bit more around that as well.
Now, one of the great things with the Mortal Realms Slayer series is because he doesn't have Felix anymore by that point, so instead he's got this scheming kind of witch elf assassin. Yes, spoiler alert. It's on the cover of all the main books. If you read the blurb, you're going to get them. But yes, she's simultaneously scheming about how to get away with killing him if she can manage to kill him, so that she can steal like the magical powers that he's locked into. But at the same time, trying to make sure that he doesn't get killed by anything else, so that nothing else gets access to the magical powers. So she's simultaneously trying to keep him alive and trying to murder him. It's brilliant.
That's just a great fun series. That's what I would suggest, really. But hopefully that helps you, my friend.
Yeah, and check out my videos on the subject as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think we did we've got a clip still out from here as well, like our suggestions for Black Library at some point. So I'm sure you can find all of that somewhere. Next one is actually a narrative-based question by Nelks. Are the Space Marines chasing the fantasy of the Great Crusade, or simply just not as powerful without a Primarch at their back? So basically saying the current state, I think, of the Space Marines, are they kind of chasing that Great Crusade level of power, and will they ever get back to it? And is it because of the loss of the Primarchs? Are they kind of lacking them to get back to the top, if you like?
I think you could probably split that question into two parts, couldn't you?
Yeah. In a way.
One, are they chasing the Great Crusade, and are they as powerful as the Primarchs? In terms of chasing the idea of the Great Crusade, I don't think they're doing that anymore, especially a lot of the newer chapters. They're just putting out fires and just doing what they know that they're meant to do, and that's just protect the Imperium. Some of them have their own agendas, obviously. Some of them have cool agendas like Death Spectres. We don't know what they're doing in the Ghoul Stars. I know Ben loves that side of it. Dark Angel, well, the Unforgiven, we know about them. But the other part of the question, are they as powerful with the Primarchs? Not at the backs, unless you don't count the Ultramarines and the Dark Angels. No, they're not as powerful, I don't think. Because they're all smaller now. They're all chapter size rather than legion size. And they're never going to be as powerful as when they had people like Dawn and Korax and
I think
Lehman
that's
Russ.
more what he was sort of asking, really, was just more like, will they ever get to the power level of Great Crusade without the Primarchs? Do they need the Primarchs to get to like that sort of status again? Not necessarily.
I think Crusade, if they were to launch another Great Crusade, they'd need at least a few Primarchs leading them.
Yeah. See, that's what I would argue is I think that's back where we are though, because we've got the Indomitus Crusade that Gulliman launched. We had the whole new wave of Primaris chapters and the Torchbearer fleets.
Yeah, I just think one or two more Primarchs and they'll be there.
Yeah, I mean, they are essentially almost reenacting the Great Crusade after, all the kind of victories of Chaos and the Xenos races and the great opening of the Great Rift, putting them on the back foot. Gulliman has kind of kick-started a Great Crusade 2.0 to go with his Imperium 2.0.
Kind of, yeah.
Or 3.0 or 3.1, whatever it is he's on now, whichever edition of Excel he's running. But he's launched this new version of the Crusade, and they've got, I would argue, loads of technology that they didn't have access to.
Yeah,
during the
Volkite
Horus
and stuff
Heresy.
is back now, and they got
Yeah.
Tomb again.
But I mean, also the Primarchs Marines are objectively more powerful than the Marines that were around during the Heresy. The technology they've got access to, they've got a whole range of, loads more grav tanks and stuff that they didn't have during the Heresy. They've still got access to some of the Heresy tech as well, but they've also got access to this new stuff that Call's been cranking out. I mean, I suppose objectively the way you'd have to weigh it is if you had a portion of the Indomitus Crusade backed by, say, Gulliman versus a portion of one of the traitor legions backed by, if we were to go back to the Heresy before they became Demon Primarchs and so forth.
If you were applying the power that they have now to 30k times, yeah, they're definitely as powerful. But now they're coming up against Dark Eldar, Necrons, Tyranids.
One of the things he did add below it, not to extend this too long, but one of the things he did say was add to it was just saying that obviously the levels of Xenos that they're up against now are far, far higher, and they're kind of struggling with it a bit. So I don't know if he's saying, like, if we were to get a couple more of the Primarchs back, would it help to, and spur the legions on more, grow some of the legions back? I don't know, but it's interesting.
I think if we were to follow this thought experiment through, if all of the Primarchs that were able to return had returned at the point that Gulliman had arrived at Terra. So say Gulliman gets to Terra, Vulcan, comes out of hiding, Korak steps out of the warp, Russ dusts himself off, like the portal scene from the end of Avengers, on your left, and they just start stepping out of the warp around America.
Russ comes back in, where's my armor?
Yeah, exactly.
They found that.
If they all just suddenly started stepping in, and
Khan walks in with someone's head.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, now I'm imagining it and thinking that would actually be visually very cool. On your left, and then they just
Dawn walks in like, "Where's my hand?"
No, Dawn just walks in with this massive bionic fist.
Yeah.
Ferrus, steps out of the warp, leading the Legion of the Damned, and if you unleashed all of that on the the galaxy at large, I think they could take them. I think they could take all the various Xenos threats, Chaos threats, and everything else. It's just that unfortunately they're having to kind of feed their forces into the fire piecemeal rather than being able to do a push out from Terror in one big rush like they did at the start of the Great Crusade.
They need to do a whole What If series on that, I think. Animated series, that'd be fun.
That would be. I'm imagining. I mean, someone do a fan animation or something. Ferrus looking like Ghost Rider with like a burning skull rising out of the shell of his armor, and the Khan stepping out of a portal with like Dawn on one side of him and Russ on the other. Russ leading the rest of the Wolfen out of the warp. It would be awesome.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens with the Primarchs coming back, and if they can stem the Xenos tide, we'll see. But we have.
Okay, no, hang on. Sorry, one more thought there. Abaddon, looming over Rabute, brandishing the Talon of Horus, going, "I am inevitable," and Gulliman just turning around and going, "I am Gulliman." It would be so cool. Come on,
Gulliman. Oh, I love it. Oh dear me, there's so many things you could come up with that. Okay, a nice simple one for the next one. Imperial Viking. If you were a dreadnought, which type would you want to be? Not that you probably have a choice. Well, you may. I don't know. Do they have any sort of choice when they like
Orc dreadnoughts?
It's like when you come to get kitted out, it's like, oh yeah,
that's a good shout. I was only thinking Space Marines, but they used to Orc dreadnought.
Orc Mega Dread. They put you inside a giant metal dustbin with a whole bunch of
pulling the levers with
and then just weld the lid shut.
I didn't even think about Orc stuff, to be fair. I was just thinking Space Marines.
Orc Mega Dread for definite. Snappity snap snap snap.
I like I could kind of actually like the idea of the what's the Space Wolf ones called?
Oh, with the
Ferrus
Murderfangs.
Is that something?
There's the Murderfangs.
No, he's a character, isn't he? He's got the claws. But you got like the
Ferrus Blizzard Shield and big
shield and the cross stacks.
No, he's talking about
a character.
The
it's very similar sort of thing.
Oh, you mean you're about the stupid overdone Space Wolf one they brought back with the Yeah, I know.
Shield and axe.
What you mean, the awesome dreadnought where they've got a massive frost axe?
Yeah, but it was when the Space Wolf dial and went like that up to 12, like
Yeah,
they did with everything else. It was Frosty McFrostface with his ice gun. It just got a bit silly.
I'm a fan of the stuff they did with Space Wolf, so you won't catch me going against that.
I've got a Space Wolf army. Literally, it's mostly
dreadnought for me.
composed of.
I'm a massive Space Wolf fan, but it got a bit much at one point.
No, but
Second edition Wolves is where it's at.
were you guys going Orky then? Were you?
I've Orky Mega Dragon, definitely.
I was just going to say a Duradio would be pretty good because you've just got all the Jacker. I was going to say that, but then he said Orc Dreadnought, and I'm well on board with that. A little Gretchen inside pulling all the levers. Yeah, Orc Dreadnought just for the fun of it.
Indeed. We'll do one more, and then we'll go to 20 questions. So this one's from Royal Chicken. What's your favourite of the 3 main types of Warhammer armies? And he has subbed 40k with this. So I think he basically means what army do you like from each of the main games, maybe is what he's saying. But it's
okay, not
way.
Otherwise, I'd just say it's Warhammer the Old World. It would be easy for me.
Is that what he meant?
No, I think he means for which army do you like from each game system? If we answer that question, if that's what they're asking.
So what's your favourite of the 3 main types of Warhammer armies? Or does he mean the games?
Yeah, because they're not really types of armies like a cheesy list or a...
Let's answer the question we would like him.
I mean like a horde list or an elite list or...
I'm choosing to interpret this as which army would you like is your favourite from each of the three main games.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah, that's easier.
Let's go with that then.
It's much, much easier. So for 40k, it's easy. It's orcs because they're just the best. For Warhammer the Old World, I think it's probably the Bretonnians. I mean, I love my dwarves. I've got the big dwarven beard, but of all the armies that I've painted, I think the Bretonnians are my favourite that I've painted for the Old World. And they are just so pretty as a whole bunch of models, and the variety of heraldry and stuff. So yeah, I think I have to pick my Bretonnians for the Old World. And for Age of Sigmar, it is Maggotkin, because they are disgustingly wonderful. Even if they're not necessarily the best rules wise, they've just got such happy models.
Nice. I would say very simple for me. It's dinosaurs, and if there were space dinosaurs, it would be that, but there isn't, so I'll go Ultramarines, because...
Not Kroot!
No, I mean, if we're talking lore, to be fair, you could say Kroot, but, yeah. But I suppose they are space dinosaurs, or as close as you're going to get, so you could say that, but yeah. If we're talking about, playing an army on the field, it would be Ultramarines, but, yeah, Seraphon and Lizardmen for the other two. Sorry.
Warhammer 40,000, as much as I love Space Marines, because, I mean, let's face it, who doesn't? Eldar are my favourite army, just for the lore and the whole background and the way they look. When you see an Eldar army, I think nothing says 40k more than an Eldar army. I don't know why. Old World, I love Tomb Kings for the lore, but I think my favourite's got to be High Elves. I just love the whole magic aspect of the High Elves and just the way everything looks. And then for Age of Sigmar, at the moment, it's Caradon Overlords, but I've become recently obsessed with the Ideneth. I don't know why. I just like the whole idea of them.
Sharks.
I thought they were stupid at first, but yeah, after reading the rules preview just before 4th edition came out and reading about the tides of battle and stuff like that, I do quite like them. But if Chaos Dwarfs come to Age of Sigmar, they'll be my favourite. Especially going off
surely.
Yeah, when Chaos Dwarfs come to Age of Sigmar. I mean, going off what they've just done for Blood Bowl, if they're anything along those lines, they'll be on a winner.
So definitely. Not Chaos Dwarfs for fantasy as well, then?
No, High Elves still.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. What do you think of Lumineth, by the way, Si? Don't float your boat.
Don't like
they're kind of like the High Elf version, I suppose, in Sigmar, aren't they? I know they're different looks-wise.
They're like High Elves, but turned up too much with magic.
Yeah.
And a bit too fancy and a bit too lampshady, if that makes any sense.
I know exactly what you mean.
They have some really odd looks, don't they? With that, some of the heroes.
It's a bit too far.
Yeah. No,
somebody's turned up the dial again. It's just way too much.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's all three
Just
of us, isn't it? We all
magic
said
cows.
ours.
It's a bit much.
Too much lampshade.
It is, though, isn't it?
No, I know what you mean.
Completely know what you mean. Yeah. You'll have people commenting down
It's
in the
like
comment section.
looking
now,
at
just
Lumina. It's
lampshade.
like walking
Hashtag
around the
lampshade.
lighting section at Dunelm Mill and all the chandeliers and stuff like that.
I love it.
Which is appropriate when you think about what that name means.
Oh dear. But no, I think that's all of our answers there. So that could have been your question. It could not have been. But I mean, if you want the quick answer to which of the three is our favourite, Ben is Old World. Sai, which is yours? Old World, probably, of the three.
No, I'll go Eldar.
No,
sorry,
which game
as in,
system? If it was just which game system.
So Old World,
Oh, he's my
40k,
favourite.
Sigmar, yeah.
At the moment, Old World. For sure.
Yeah. And then for me, well, if you're talking rules, Sigmar, lore, Old World as well. So
Because Old World is the best!
it's got the best
Dreadfleet.
lore by far, in my
It's a
opinion.
main game system.
Yep.
Yeah, the main three are clearly Gorka Morka, Dreadfleet, and
Battlefleet Gothic!
Battlefleet Gothic, as I was thinking.
Absolutely.
But yes, thanks for the question, my friend. Hopefully that's answered it in one way or another. But we shall move on from now from your community questions. Thanks, guys, for sending them in. Please do jump into our Discord. We have a section there where you can send us your questions for the next episode, and you can, of course, message me them, or you can jump into Reddit, as always, and post me some there as well. But I've got a 20 questions this week for you guys, so we can do that, and then I think next week we're going to get back to how much, which will be nice
How much?
to do with one of those, so we'll prep for that next week. But if you're new to the podcast this week, then Warhammer 20 questions. If you've ever played 20Q before, the guys will have to guess one of your suggestions that you've sent in for me to give to them. It can be any
Please don't be a
character or
tank.
unit
Please don't
from
be a tank.
the well, that could be your first question. There you go.
That one broke us.
It was for quite a hard one last week. But yeah, it can be a unit or character from the Warhammer universe. And the guys get 19 yes or no questions. The 20th has to be their guess to find out what it actually is.
You could tell last time it broke us because the amount of editing was in there because of all the curse words that Luke had to get rid of.
Well, and beyond that, I went away and spent ages staring at saber tanks for Legions Imperialis and contemplating which army I would start to use a whole bunch of saber tanks as a result.
But this week's suggestion comes in from Madelschnig. I'm going to say that's how you pronounce your name. I probably butchered it, but there we go. So, as
Vindicator
always, guys,
Assassin.
let the question begin. Oh my god, you're right. It's a record. Who would like to ask first?
Ben is in the top right, so he gets to go first.
Is it a vehicle?
No. Let's go with the usual staple. Are you currently resident in the 41st millennium?
Oh, you really specified that one this time. No, I'm not. So that's one. And you really specified it as well, so that's really sad. Sadly.
Do you reside in the old world or the world that was, however you want to put it?
No, that's two.
Are you then a denizen of the mortal realms?
I am, that's three.
Okay.
Do you serve the Lords of Chaos?
No, that's four.
So not Skaven as well, then I'm counting that as because he's now a Chaos Lord.
It's a Chaos faction.
Oh, Skaven Chaos faction, yeah.
Are you a servant of death?
No, that's five.
Two more factions.
Do you have
narrow it down?
Do you have pointy ears?
No, that's six.
Oh, I was going to
So
try and narrow it down by direct.
We can rule out lampshades, sea elves, dark elves. Cruel boys got pointy ears.
Yeah, they got pointy ears. Goblins have got pointy ears. I'm going to keep trying to narrow it down by faction. Are you a part of the Destruction faction?
Nope.
Are you counting these as well? Because I'm not.
No, I'm. So okay, it's not death, it's not chaos, it's not destruction. It has to be order.
So your question 8 here, Si.
Are you a dwarf?
Dwarden.
No, that's 8.
Dwarden, sorry.
Do you have a model?
Yes, I have a model. That's 9.
Would you be considered a single character or leader amongst your peers?
Yeah, that's 10.
I'm just going to try
It's
and narrow
quite a
it.
big alliance, though, so you've got to narrow it down.
It
even
is.
more,
Well, we
yeah.
know it's not got pointy ears, so we've already ruled out Lumineth, Indaneth, Sylvaneth.
You're halfway.
And we've had what's her face on the big lion thing, haven't we? Talia or whatever her name
Yeah,
is.
we've had her.
Talia,
once.
I can't
Yeah.
remember her name. Lioness of the Parch, yeah.
Yes, we've had her. I'm going to try and rule out one big faction. Are you a Stormcast?
I am indeed a Stormcast. That's 11.
Ooh.
There's only like 5 billion of them.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on,
sadly,
but-
you got to order last, so it's taken you longer to get to this
Stormcast,
point.
but it is
Are they named, did we
an
say it was
individual
character
leader
or
model.
leader, didn't we?
Yeah, you did. Yes.
You've narrowed down the fact that it's a leader, has a model, Stormcast.
But I didn't ask if it was a named character, did I? I need to ask
No,
that,
you
I think.
didn't.
No, you
I'm just going to have a quick look and see how many different kinds of Stormcast. There's still a bunch
Yeah,
of
'cause
them.
there's loads,
Sadly,
isn't
out of all the factions and miniatures for a faction, they've got the most.
Well, it's because of
Yeah.
Sigmarine, that bloody
Yeah.
Sigmarine. Are you a named character? You're not just our type of character.
Yes, I am a named character, so that's 12.
Ooh, okay.
That helps
narrows
it
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 could
down
down
a
a
be-
lot.
lot more.
So it could be what's he called?
Well, hang on. So at this point, that leaves us. What was the one with the flappy wings called? The one she came in the starter box in the last starter box.
Oh, oh Christ, what's that?
Yeah,
She called?
Yeah. So 2 of them have got wings. 2 of them are riding on something. Is it my question?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you
13.
riding on something?
I am riding on something. That's
Hey, so it's either the one that's riding on the dragon or the one that's riding on the griffin. It's only one or the other.
There's only 2 current ones, isn't there?
Yeah, there's Ionis Cryptborn who's riding on the dragon, and there's the what I just named a minute ago, which is
Iridan the Redeemed, is it? Or someone?
Iridan the Witness who's riding on the griffin.
Iridan the Witness, that's it.
So either they're riding on a griffin or they're riding on a dragon, whichever one they're not.
Do you ride a dragon?
I do. Yes.
Excellent. Now we can ask some silly questions. What 14 are we on now? 15?
Is it yours, Ben? 15?
Yeah, I think so.
So you've got-
Is your model far better suited for conversion for a Chaos Lord on Dragon for Warhammer the Old World?
Yeah, actually is. Yeah, very would be make a very cool Chaos Lord on Dragon.
I've literally seen more of them converted for that than I have seen painted up in Age of Sigmar armies.
Are you related to Skeletor?
But highly likely.
Does your dragon shave its chin and just keep the hair on its cheeks, or does it only grow weird sideburns?
Is it lamb? It's got lamb chops.
Yes, no questions. Yes. Does your dragon only grow weird sideburns?
Yes.
Go on then.
Are you named after an internet company starring a woman on a strange woman on a scooter?
Yes. She could well be this character, to be fair, like reforged. Like we
Takes
don't
the
know.
skull helmet off and there's just
Marketing,
really.
darling.
Hi, I am Jonas.
Reforged.
Is it
I
then?
came down on the lightning.
Is it? I'm going to make the guess. Is it
Yeah.
Jonas Cryptborn, Warden of Lost Souls?
I am indeed Ionos Cryptborn. Fantastic.
Undiddly
One of the
diddly
new
defeated.
fantastic. Definitely
Almost
not
lives up to this.
Chaos
Undefeated.
of Stormcast. Gorgeous model though. Just set you back 85 English pounds if you so wish to purchase the.
How much?
Yeah.
I've literally just seen so many versions of this where like there's a head swap or an upper body swap on the Stormcast for a Chaos Lord. In particular, the one that's used a lot is either the Chaos Lord you get on the Manticore or the Chaos Lord on Juggernaut upper torso. mounted on this dragon to make a Chaos Lord on dragon for the old world, because there isn't otherwise a model for that, and they're one of the best units in the game. And yeah, it's a gorgeous model for that purpose.
Yeah,
We saw,
it's
didn't
a
we,
stunning
there was
miniature, and it is a cracking starting point for a Chaos mini. I mean, look at the base. I mean, that just screams Chaos, if nothing else.
Was it the Relictor on his own recently that they released as well, stood on his own with the banner?
Yes.
Was it with the banner? Was this pretty much the same model?
Very similar, because I'm Dark Angel's Chaplain.
Yeah, that's what we were saying when we first saw it. But yeah, very cool, and thanks for the suggestion. And as always, guys, feel free to send me, the details are in the description below, for my details to send your suggestions for Warhammer 20 questions for the guys. But next week we'll take a break and we'll be doing how much?
How much?
But
help people get their Christmas shopping in ready.
Yeah, we're getting closer and closer to Christmas. We've only got a few episodes in it between now and Christmas and the end of the year, so we'll have to plan those out for you guys.
Please don't pick anything I want.
But
yeah,
I think we'll
bankrupt tie.
Yeah, sadly. But where can we find you guys? For everybody to find Ben, we could start with you. You're at the top this week.
You can find me over on my channel, 90% Geek, and also I am on Instagram and Blue Sky with the same handle. So come and check me out there. Come and chat with the nerdlings over on Blue Sky, and of course in the Morehammer Discord.
Nice, Si.
Yeah, just to echo what Ben says, find me on YouTube as Hobby Waffle, and then again I'm on Instagram, Twitter still, and Blue Sky, same handle at Hobby Waffle. And then yeah, come on the Discord as well and have a good chat with us, because it's growing and it's really good fun.
Good fun. Blue Sky mostly at the moment, Instagram, Facebook, and then here on Morehammer for the time being, I'm going to start posting some clips out from the podcast episodes again. If you want to either rewatch with some more images, things like that, or of course, if you just want to watch the shorter clips instead, you're very welcome to do that.
You'll have to go back and find the book one that we did in a previous episode and put it up to help with the question.
Yeah. And Ben, you'll have to share yours as well from that you've done. That would be good. But as always, guys, links are in the description below as well for the guys' channels. So you can go and check out the separate videos we talk about for them on here as well. But otherwise, until the next episode in a couple of weeks' time, we will catch you later. Happy wargaming. See you guys.
Bye.